As Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something spoken about, ask a man. If you want it done, ask a woman.
We're here tonight to celebrate the Pizan Honors, which is our first gala to recognize women from the past and the present. So it's going to be a very exciting night.
The inspiration is that Christine de Pizan was the first person in history that we know of to write down women's history. And she actually wanted to mainstream women's history back in the 1400s.
One of the most significant roles the museum can play is to say that all of these women are important and to recognize the many different ways that women contribute to society.
I want to do everything I can to help get this museum built. I think it'll address that large gap that exists right now and help to inspire and educate lots of people who come to visit.
Our founder, Karen Stacer, took her daughter to visit the Capitol one time, and she found that the suffrage statue was buried in the crypt of the Capitol. So it became her mission to move it to the rotunda where it sits today.
I hope it gives them courage, it gives them ideas, it makes them realize that women's creativity is really important. It's an essential element in our society.
It's a tremendous honor. I'm actually winning the Grace Hopper Award, and she happens to be a real hero and role model for me.
I'm just incredibly honored and humbled to be honored here as part of the National Women's History Museum. There's just a really amazing story unfolding around women. I think getting the opportunity to celebrate that as part of a museum here in Washington, D.C. is just something that's incredibly special and hopefully will provide inspiration for all kinds of young girls.
They say, try to empower a woman, and you're empowering, the family, the community, the nation, and the world. So having a women's museum and to go through the accomplishments of women who have done so much in the past for us, it is very imperative that we have such a museum.
For it to be the first annual is so special. This Women's History Museum is something that's so needed, and it's been earned.
It's very important because it's the only museum of its type in the U.S. and it's very important that we celebrate and learn about what women have done and contributed to this country.
I would hope it would have a very positive effect upon young women as they go through and see what women from prior generations, decades, have done. And I think that the experience that I have had with the Women's Memorial, where we pay tribute to the military women, and I see today's children going through and being impacted by that, as well as women serving today, and it gives them pride, and it gives them hope for the future.
It's so important for us to know our history, and every generation needs to relearn the stories of all of the people who contributed to the making of America.
I think that understanding where we've come from and all that we've contributed to history, whether it's recognized or not, is an important way of understanding where women are going in the future.
We have so many young women and women of all generations. That underscores the applicability that this museum has to every generation. We sometimes think about history being just the past, but it's living today, and that's what this is part and parcel of.
I think we have been ignored far too long. The time is past for us to have museums and places where young women can go and see what we have accomplished so that they can decide for themselves what they'd like to do with their lives.
You just need it for historical purposes. I mean, history begets new history, and it leads to inventions, it leads to hope, it leads to progress, it leads to discoveries in all areas. And there are so many women that were pioneers, and we deserve a place of presence for women in the U.S. and world over.
It was absolutely wonderful evening, and we were so thrilled to be able to honor these women. And people can find out more about the incredible women from history at www.nwhm.org.
We just got to pull together, girls, and get this done.